Arsenal are out of the FA Cup, 1-1 draw and loss on penalties to Manchester United. Welcome, Purely Arsenal Instant Reaction Podcast. Not a happy one. Out of the League Cup midweek, or as good as, and now we're out of the FA Cup. It was a game which started really slow, but then went into action, didn't it? So let's get into it. The lineup. I think the worst case scenario for this game was you play a strong lineup and you lose it. If you played a weak lineup and you lost it, you can understand with the games that we've got coming up, the amount of injuries we've got, the lack of rotation of players, key injuries that we've got. Not necessarily the amount, it's the key injuries. You know, your Ben White's, your Odegaard's back, but clearly not himself. Saka out. Now Gabriel Jesus out. And we'll get to a few more Calafiori's out for this game, obviously, again. He went strong, about as strong as he could have done, really, bar Declan Rice, and it didn't pay off in the end. And if we look at it, the game started. I mean, we were dominant at 11 versus 11, but we didn't create enough once again from open play. Set pieces slowing our games down. I mean, we've got to stop doing that. I mean, every time we get a set piece, we take 30 seconds to a minute over it, and it relinquishes pressure. It allows the other team to rest too. And I understand if it's, you know, a corner and you're doing a specific type of strategy, but for every set piece, sometimes 40 or 50 yards from goal, we're taking 30 seconds to a minute to discuss it. Just allows the other team to rest, take a breath. Our pressure is pretty relentless in terms of our territory. So I just think it plays into their hands when we're doing it for every single set piece. We do it from throw-ins, from set pieces on the halfway line. It's ridiculous. It's got to stop. And look, I love how effective we are from set pieces, but there's got to be a balance there, and we're not finding it at the moment. Didn't create too much in the first half. There was one moment where Martinelli was through and scored. I think the goal should be given. To be honest, I think the rule is that if you purposely touch the ball as a defender, then it can't be given as offside. And I think without doubt, Maguire purposely tries to clear that ball with his left foot. It's not his fault he's that bad that he barely touches the ball. It's still a purposeful contact, and that should be 1-0 really to Arsenal, but it isn't. Second half, they have one break, and it's a poor defensive display from Gabriel. I think Saliba should get over after that. He doesn't. Ball drops to I think Garnacho. Garnacho runs onto it, and it's a great finish from Bruno Fernandes in the box, and keeper can do nothing about it. But I thought Gabriel was poor there, and Saliba as well. And then they get the red card, deserved red card, really. I think they could have had more players sent off, to be honest. Lissandro Martinez, Bruno Fernandes, all did multiple things after the yellow cards that didn't get pulled up. He kind of gave up on giving it more red cards after the first one, didn't he? Then we did create bucketfuls of chances, to be honest. Havertz, Sitter, don't know how he misses one of them, drops to the floor and he kicks it over the bar when it looked easier to put it in the back of the net. Rice's one is just as bad, to be honest. The header, free header, acts like he just wants to get it on target. Whole goal to aim at. Of course, the penalty, which I think was, to be honest, a bit fortunate. I don't think Havertz really, there's a lot of contact from Maguire. I think he pushes his hand out, but I think it's a really soft penalty. And but we get the penalty, and Odegaard is just so off form at the moment, and you didn't expect him to score that, despite the fact I don't think he's ever missed a penalty for Arsenal. I could be wrong in that. I wasn't confident at all, and it's a good save from their goalkeeper in it. After that, it plays into the fact that their goalkeeper's just hugely confident, and he's saving everything. But I don't really think, other than the Rice chance where he's through, hits it with his left foot into the bottom corner, and it's a good save from their goalkeeper. The rest, I think, our finishing's just really poor. Amongst all of that, just before we lose Gabriel Jesus, it looks like he hyperextends his knee with a little bit of valgus movement, which is a little bit of interior movement, a medial movement of the knee, and goes straight down. He was, I think that was the first half, actually, and straight away they call the stretcher out, don't they? And that's just not a good sign. I mean, if out of all of our forwards, if we've got anyone on form, it's probably Gabriel Jesus. And now he looks like he's going to be out for a sustained period of time if we're to judge that mechanism and the way he was immediately called on for the stretcher. And I just don't see how we can't act in this market now. But there may not be too much left for us to do in the season if things carry on in this vein. Our strikers are just so off form. Martinelli's so one-dimensional. Kai Havertz all over the place. Can't finish anything. Looks exhausted too. Looks tired. Doesn't make the runs that we're used to him making. Doesn't challenge for the ball like we're used to him challenging. Raheem Sterling come on. I actually thought there was a 20-30 minute spell in the second half where he was quite bright in his dribbling, and he's obviously not the answer, but he just broke lines and broke structure, and it was refreshing, I guess. But obviously with that, you know, he's tracking back and his ability to win the ball, and he loses the ball a lot in his dribbles now as well and things like that. So, but we desperately need something in this window, and I don't think it can just be something. I think it has to be something big, really. And then when it gets to penalties, I think, you know, the writing was on the wall, really, at that point. The writing was on the wall, went to extra time. We had a few chances there. Havertz had another one that he crossed to Trossard and they somehow cleared. I think he probably could have shot. And we didn't create enough, I don't think, in extra time, to be honest. Yeah, it's disappointing to go out of the cup, especially when you've played a lot of players. Jorginho came off with what looked like an injury. Timber came off with what looked like an injury. Odegaard was struggling. And now we go into midweek with Tottenham obviously buoyed by their League Cup result. You know, they're able to, I'm sure, rotate and rest players today despite them going to extra time. And we've got Tottenham and Villa now at home with a decimated squad, but also a squad that's dramatically low on confidence. You know, I want to say we've created more than 7 or 8 XG in the last 2 games, and we've scored 1 goal, which was from a centre-back, Gabriel today, and the equaliser, which was deflected. And tremendously frustrating. Lots of players off form. I thought Mourinho was really poor as well today. I mean, you can't find him sometimes on the pitch. I read a tweet that said he looks like a referee just running around and never involved, and kind of summed his game up, really. But no one was really good. No one was good. And despite the fact we created a ton of chances, it really was when they went down to 10 men. And we should have won the game. They didn't create, you know, more than one chance other than the goal, which was Xerxes, which was saved well from David Raya. And then the penalty shootout, Kai Havertz is the one to miss it. I know you'd put money on Havertz or Odegaard missing it again at that point. So it's a poor penalty. Staggered his run, placed it in the corner. It's a good save from the keeper, but there's just not enough power on it. And we're out of the cups in a week, and that's how quickly things can change. And that's why, you know, many people said you had to move early in this January window. It may well be too late at this point. Don't know. On to the derby. North London derby, going into it with no confidence and as a collective and on a poor run of form. And Mikel Arteta has to find something, and it has to be for something from within this squad that is really struggling. All right, up the Arsenal. Subscribe, like, comment, appreciate it. See you on the next one.